I hope everyone's having a nice weekend. We are finishing off the first week of NMG League Season 12. This is round one of the league, and this match is Blue and versus Doc. So these are two of our mentor program participants, and on comms is Malmo and Concision. So this is a really great group of people with a lot of knowledge to offer. And thank you, comms, for your time this evening, and best of luck to our runners. So good luck and have fun.
Yep, welcome everybody. Really excited for another season of League. Excited to be doing comms again with Malmo, and looking forward to some great NMG tonight.
Yeah, let's hear it for Dr. Earworm and Blue Sentio. I've been following Dr. Earworm's NMG progress a little bit. One of the more memorable things is watching him race his friend Tyler Salt at last year's SG Live, and they had a heck of a race. They were really close to each other, and also I think they either both PB'd or both had paces running the whole time.
That was fun. I was there for that too. It was really fun. Yeah, I've been watching Doc pretty carefully, I guess, since the last lead, which was Hundo lead, which is I think probably when he started picking up NMG again in the sort of somewhat serious manner that he's been playing lately. It's been really fun to watch. So we are underway. Game is starting. We are hopping out of bed in Link's house and going into the escape sequence of the game, which is sort of the game's tutorial or intro, if you will. And this section is there's a lot of sort of time that can be saved or lost just through basic movement here. There are a few rooms that are pretty tricky in terms of execution. They need some inputs put in the right order in the right time, but a lot of the rooms are just knowing where to walk and sort of not attacking enemies that we don't need to attack because every unnecessary sword swing costs us time, and not getting hit because that also costs us time.
You can already see people having to dodge guards. There is guard RNG in this split, as there is in a lot of splits. Some enemies are predictable and some enemies are RNG. Sometimes you have to learn multiple versions of a room to know how to get through it. Sometimes you just have to react.
Yep, very true. And like I think that all of the guard rooms in this segment sort of fall into that category of eventually you sort of see enough patterns that you don't get surprised by much anymore. But you're just like constantly having to sort of pattern match what RNG am I seeing this time, and like doing the right thing based on that. Some of the later rooms with the rats and the snakes take, in my opinion, significantly longer to get to that point because there's just more enemies and they react, or they move more erratically and frequently.
Yeah, well, when there's more of them, there's more degrees of freedom, more ways the room can go, and eventually you stop being able to, encode each one in your brain, and you just have to react on the fly. To use a different part of your brain.
So these were two of the first that I would call sort of trick rooms where we have, I mean, they're just like basic sword spins to kill, but we prime the sword entering the room and release it at the right time, so on and so forth. But it's just sort of like the first part of the speed run that we really get to leverage the fact that we know what every room looks like as we enter it. We see a little bit of divergence here in strats with Dr. Earworm going for 8/, Lucentio going for 1 pot. And there's not a huge time difference between the two, actually. 1 pot is only giving up a little bit of time over no pots. It's 2 pot, which is significantly slower, but both make it through ball and chains without any disasters, which is always good to see in a race.
Yeah, they both had really good ball and chains. Dr. Earworm had, I think, maybe he plays a little more rando than Blue Sentio, so it was actually the text box that threw him off. He was mashing buttons and he slashed his sword at the end of that Zelda's text box.
Yeah.
And Blue having to react a little bit to that guard. I think I saw him swing wide, maybe move up a little bit farther before going to the door, rather than doing optimal diagonal movement, because I think you can get hit if the guard aggro's early.
Yep. While we're working through these pretty uneventful rooms, we'll take a quick look at the runners' personal best times. Blue Centio's on his splits at least, a 128.18, and Doc 131.11. But I think that difference is probably overstated. Blue is sort of derusting from quite a long break from the game, and as we mentioned already, Doc has sort of been playing quite a bit lately and really as good as he's been.
Doc also has a lot of recent rando experience, which gives him tools to handle situations that might come unexpectedly in a run, especially in a race setting. At least as a rando player myself, I find that I do better in the races where things are disastrous for everybody, because if I'm playing against somebody who's an NMG main, they might not be as equipped to handle these things. Another thing I'm looking at in their splits is their run count is quite different, with Dr. Earworm being in double digits and Blue Centio being in triple digits. So just a little bit more attempts by an order of magnitude for Blue, which can mean, like what you said, is, rusty because a lot of those attempts were from a while ago, whereas Dr. Earworms are a little more recent, but also has a foundation to work on that Dr. Earworm might not have developed yet for all of the rooms. He had
definitely
potential for a rat frames for Doc, but he was just not quite there yet. If he knew what to do, he might have been able to get in next to that rat, slash his sword, and despawn his shield for faster text boxes.
Yeah, going back to your point, Doc is a quite experienced rando racer and player, and so you're right. I've always thought that can sort of be a real leg up in terms of the league and race experience, because rando racers are used to racing, obviously, and racing is quite an occasional thing for most speedrunners. So it's a pretty interesting sort of thing to keep in mind.
Do you happen to know if Blue Centio's PB is a recent one?
I do not think it is. I think it is several years old. So we are now on our way to Eastern Palace, the first sort of real dungeon in the game. And it is sort of a continuation, in my opinion, of Escape in terms of how it plays out, how it feels. There's a few more tricks. We do get our first major item, which is the bow and arrow, and we get to use it in several rooms actually in this dungeon, and that's pretty neat. But we still do not have the boots for dashing, and so it's still a lot about just good, clean movement, using diagonals where you're supposed to, cardinals where you're supposed to use those, not getting stuck on doors and nudging too much, that sort of thing.
Have we talked about pumping and stair drag yet?
We haven't. No.
Okay.
Do you want to go ahead and?
Sure. I just want to explain something that happened in the recent past, which was going up the stairs to Eastern Palace, which is one of your big pumping locations, because it's the first time you get to pump on manual stairs in this run. And pumping on manual stairs actually does save a lot of time if you are alternating your movement from up to up left. You can reset Link's walk cycle to favor his good foot, so that he's always leading with his 2 pixel foot instead of his 1 pixel foot, because Link does walk with a bit of a limp. If you are at the top of the stairs, you can also do something called stair drag cancel, where you either tap A if you have the boots, or you turn, you do like one cardinal turn at the very end to get out of stair state early and resume normal walking speed. It's kind of like you're at the bottom of the staircase and you jump on the last step to get off faster. which you wouldn't want to do in the middle of the staircase because that would be dangerous, and you would also be walking with a limp afterward.
Yeah, we'll see some more pumping here on blue screen in this room. The basic theory here is that when Link is moving in cardinal directions, his movement alternates between 2 pixels in a frame and 1 pixel in a frame.
I have a question in chat about this Stalfos room too. This is one of the trick rooms in this dungeon. It's actually quite simple. It's just based on Link's position. All you have to do is walk to a specific position with the pot and throw it to the right, and then walk to the corner pot and diagonal down right, throw the pot, and it will hit the Stalfos. And the way that works is that 4 Stalfos will spawn, but it's contingent on there actually being a place for them to spawn. So if you position Link so that the 4 cardinals around Link where they would spawn, only 2 of them are actually available spaces for the Stalfos. The other 2 will not spawn because they will not spawn on top of collision or in walls.
Yeah, there's like a hidden square in that room where when Link steps in it like triggers the spawns. And I think that just because of like some bad math on the developer's part, if you trigger it from above, then like the skeleton that should spawn above you has no room to spawn. And we do want to also cause the one below us to spawn over a pot, which then brings us down to 2, like you said.
Dr. Earworm had a bit of a difficult time in one of those rooms. So the room that we call Gifted with Greenies, where you have to kill the green Igor for a key. He shot his arrow at the Igor, but a Popo went out and took the arrow for the Igor, and then he had to do a dance with that Igor to avoid getting killed. The Igor does a full heart of damage, so it actually can be a dangerous part of the split when you're in these rooms where you're killing Igors. If your movement is, too tight or not tight enough, you can walk right into them and lose a lot of health at once.
Yeah, the back half of Eastern is definitely quite dangerous. Pretty infamous for ending many weekly race runs. Or at least causing deaths if it doesn't end the run.
I didn't remark on this. I don't know if you did, but Blue Sentio did get a gold in the escape by point.
I actually noticed that both of our runners got escape golds, but
okay.
I didn't call it out either.
I'm looking at Doc's split, and the escape split is dots, so I can't see that it was a gold.
Gotcha. I think he may have added a subsplit there, but I'm not sure.
I see.
He did say in chat.
He is subsplitting, so it's hard to. I don't really know how to read these subsplits.
It's okay. Nobody does.
Subsplits are for people who set up auto splitter.
Exactly.
So a little bit of a divergence in rupee routing between the 2 runners. Dr. Earworm opting for Sahasrara rupees, which is the safer option. Blue Sentio will be going for tree rupees later on, where you have to do clean kills without getting hit after the Hera split, and then pull some trees to get money. And if you get hit, then you lose a lot of time resetting that tree pull counter. The difference, I think, is 4 seconds, and it's pretty common for people above the 129 mark, people who haven't gotten their sub 130 yet, to do Sahasrara rupees, because it's not a huge time save for the amount of effort you have to put in. And if you're running at 131 level, you probably have better places to put that time.
Absolutely.
Like, learning the dash lines on these screens.
Yeah, I didn't switch to tree rupees until I think it was like 128.12. It just adds a lot of risk to the run for just a few seconds. Especially, once you sort of nail it, like everything else, it's not that much risk. But as you said, there are, for many runners, better places to be working. So it's just, you have finite time, spend it wisely sort of thing. So we do have the boots now, which both of us got after finishing Eastern Palace. And so now the rest of the game we want to move using dashes as much as possible, basically. And a lot of the game's movement hinges on the correct use of dashes and walking and that sort of thing. Uh-oh, okay. Blue grabs the torch key just a little bit late, but grabs it. Looks like cancel the dash before actually bonking.
Yeah, I was wondering why he dashed out of torch room, which isn't something I usually see. There's a lot of different ways.
It was maybe a panic from being off of the BMO cycle due to the slow key pickup.
You didn't know, because if you do the room correctly every time, you'll just like, what happened, Dr. Earworm? He went to the wrong room, I think. Yeah. Rando Brain, he says.
Rando Brain. Mm-hmm.
I just saw him walk out of the big chest room and into the torch room, which is not a thing in
yeah, I was internally panicking and like,
this
wondering
isn't just Rando Brain. This is like Cross Key's brain, because you only do that in Key Sanity when you come in with big key already in your hand.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out if I'd somehow missed Doc getting the big key in the time that I was talking about.
Well, and I was also thinking like, key. Oh, well, he just gets the gloves first and then he gets the key. But it's like, wait, no, we can't. Well, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, Rando Brain is real. There are advantages and disadvantages to being a rando main. When things are going badly, you can adapt, but when things are going well, you might just walk into the wrong room, get lost. True. You might open chests that have maps and compasses in them. You might mash too far or not far enough on a text box, or forget that there's a text box at all. And he just wanted to make sure he was on his arrow route before doing anything else in desert, so he walks in and gets the arrows from Circle of Pots. I'm just gonna call all of those rooms Circle of Pots. I don't care. They got pots in a circle.
Works for me. All right. Blue entering the Lambo fight with 25 arrows, which is fine. I would have probably picked up the final arrow pot because I'm a big baby when it comes to arrow count in races, especially. But I'm sure we'll just finish with 14 arrows and it'll be fine. All right, I'm not sure if that was a 5 or a 6 cycle, but I think it was right around there. And blue is actually right around PB pace. Looks like just a little behind.
He's running against a better desert for sure.
True.
Locke's getting a bit of an uneven Lambo hits. He had one jump out in front of another one he was trying to get hits on, and it took more hits. But
yeah, and that's something that takes quite a long time to improve on.
I think that one still needs a couple. There we go. It's like a 5 cycle, right?
That was pretty respectable, yeah.
I think we're all bad at Lambo, unless you like grind it for a million years. We're all bad at Lambo until like 124 level. And Incision's being quiet because he's like, oh, well, I'm good at Rando and I'm not a 124 runner.
Oh, I'm not good at Lambo. that's for sure. All right, blue has performed the one usage of fake flippers that we use in this run. It's a minor glitch that lets us swim without having the actual flippers item. If we hop into the water and then scroll the screen on, guess, the frame after we hop in.
Sorry, these dash lines Dr. Earworm's doing are making me I mean, who among us, right? I should not talk about random players not knowing NMG dash lines, but he was like going shoulder to shoulder with crabs and having to deal with birds. It's amazing how much you have to actually sit down and learn when you're doing NMG instead of just like wing it. Like you can wing some things, but there are things that you actually do need to learn. And it's so hard to convince yourself to learn dash lines because it's not fun to practice those. It's not a trick. It's just learning the ABCs. You know, it's like learning the times tables. It's just not that exciting, but it will get you through a lot. Those are the things that you should do. Those are the things you do instead of learning tree rupees at the 131
Exactly.
level.
Yeah. When I was learning the speedrun, I wasn't even coming in from rando, but it's still like those like the like, you know, dash lines on the screens that don't feel scary or impactful still just aren't things that you prioritize very much. But I found that like all of those screens like that, and one for me was like the screen after Tempered Sword, or I guess after C-Shape House and that sort of thing. Like there's just some screens where like you have dash lines that are a little counterintuitive, and like I found that once I actually learned them, it kind of made the run a lot less stressful because it was just less thinking I had to do, you know? And
like
so I think it's totally worth it. Yeah, exactly.
Learning to drive on like your commute versus, so like you're driving on your normal commute versus driving to a new place. When you're driving to a new place, you have to actually pay attention to what turn lane you need to be in and stuff. Whereas when you're in your home, you don't have to think about those things, so it's a lot easier and safer. It's how NMG is, especially if you're an NMG runner who doesn't play rando, and you have learned the NMG route, and now you're doing other screens that you haven't learned. That's when it starts to feel like that. So it works both ways. You know, you have NMG runners playing rando, doing screens they've never seen in their lives, and then they're like, wait a minute, I know the principles of movement, but there's more to it than that. And sometimes the entire rando community doesn't know how to do the screen. And it goes, you know, 5 or 6 years of everyone doing the screen wrong until one person actually tests it. I mean, you know, looking at you, Bitey, you know, people like that actually going in and testing these things and saying, you're all doing this wrong.
So we see Doc using, he shed 2 bombs out of the 3 that we picked up from Saha's hut, and then used the final one to get a little coffee break here. Fun strat.
Honestly worth it. Yeah, and that gives you a free menu to lamp, right?
Free menu.
So
yep.
It's free to use that bomb in the sense that you don't have to menu to it, but you do have to. You have to menu the bombs initially, but you don't have to menu off of them. And of course, it is one less bomb in your future bomb route. And, you know, you could have saved that bomb, but you know, if you're gonna do Saha rupees, might as well do coffee break.
Right. Well, so it just puts you back on the tree rupee bomb routing. So you're just like having to grab bombs that the other players are grabbing anyway. It's just that now you don't have like any safety bombs really. Like you can't, you know, fail Ice Palace bomb jump twice. Surely none of our runners will do that, but.
Blue having. I was just watching Blue and Petting Zoo after Moon Pearl, and he had those Kadangos firing directly into his path multiple times.
They were keeping the hallway lit. I saw that.
Most people would just like run through that and be like, okay, whatever. That's just how this run is going. But in a race setting, you don't want to be walking into Moldorm on 2 hearts. So he did wait, and then they just kept doing it. A little known trick about those fires, though, is that you can put them out faster by sticking your sword out and sticking your sword into the fire. It's weird, but it works.
Yep.
You can actually see the flame flicker faster when you have your sword in the flame. It's a very, very weird mechanic. I don't know why it is a thing.
Slightly scary Moldorm fight from Blue, but we got through, and that's really what matters. We'll see Doc dropping into the fight now.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Oof. We're fine. It was a little tense. There are definitely some places where he could probably be dashing up and down, not the dash you want to do, but I could see the opportunity presented itself there. I don't know why it didn't hit. Must have been just outside the hitbox. Dashing up and down next to Moldorm is fine. Going through him is what's dangerous.
Right.
So blue now going for tree warp rupees. He has to get the blue ones first to reset the cycle and then kill 4 enemies without getting hit. And
There's
that will
number 1.
trigger the red rupee from the next tree pull.
We'll have enemy number 2 here as this bird.
Mm-hmm. And 3 as the bush crab he dashed through.
Yep.
So only 1 more needed. That's the scary one. He did get hit there, so he's going to have to do a backup strat.
That was this. Okay, yeah. I think you're like 1 second ahead of me.
Oh, yeah, you should refresh your page.
Okay.
I've noticed that.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was a few seconds behind. Cool.
I'm not outside of the hitbox, he was just inside of the iframes, because Moldorm does have pretty substantial iframes after each hit. So blue's backup will be, he has to pull the tree again to get blue to reset that cycle, and then he has to kill some guards on the way to the castle and not get hit again. And there's a tree pull inside the castle courtyard that he could pull for blue rupees. And if he fails that, then he could do a damageless Aga Tower, and, that's easy. Just do that, and then do a tree pull outside of the pyramid.
There you go.
I think the actual backup strat for that is you either just go in and out of Uncle Cave and get a red tree pull there, or you mirror at Sahasrara and get the rupees in the closet.
Yeah. All right, so there's kill number 1. We need to get some more guard kills. Here's the second one. And we wanted that green guard to be in the other spot, so that happened because blue entered the screen a little bit too far to the left, which it's like a similar concept to the second screen after leaving escape, like a sanctuary, where you transition the screen impacts where the guards spawn. But that spin took care of our kill count, and so both runners good on money now.
You also want to have beams entering Aga Tower. There's a few strats in the first rooms where you would use beams. You'll see some backup strats used for blue for both of the kill rooms. This one, just a little bit slower. The other one, you want to kill the guards at the dash so that you don't get the fairy drop, because you want the fairy drop to come later, and the timer it's like a global timer that resets only when you save and quit. So sorry, not a timer, it's a counter. It's like a kill counter. Mm-hmm. Every time they drop an item, it advances the prize pack. He's just going to kill them and get the fairy. This is going to impact Turtle Rock later on. So dungeon number 7 in the Dark World, 40 minutes from now, will be impacted. Right. Dr. Earworm is doing the non-beam strat in this room. I think he just hasn't learned the beam strat. This one, hopefully he'll be showing you the beam strat where you beam them twice and then dash, and perfect, other than the bonk. But, you did skip this fairy.
And then somewhat paradoxically, getting both of the drops on blue's side might be better, because there's a chance still we could cycle to the fairy in Turtle Rock at this point.
He has another chance to get a drop in this prize pack between here and there. There's a enemy that always dies in COD that will drop from that prize pack, and normally that's either a heart or it's nothing, because it is a 50-50 whether it drops. He could also, if he really wanted to cycle the pack, he could kill a mini Helmasaur at the back of Skull Woods, but that's a little dangerous. You only do that when the room goes terribly anyway, so probably not going to go for that.
But the Pokies in Turtle Rock have like 1 million segments each, so we still have a decent chance, even if we don't see any more drops, of cycling it at some point in Turtle Rock.
Do you happen to know what safeties they get? I didn't notice if Dr. Earworm picked up Mushroom or not. I'm pretty sure Blue did not.
I noticed that Blue did not pick up Mushroom.
Okay, Doc does have it.
I did not notice. Doc does have it. Okay.
Yeah, I just saw it in the menu. I like that Doc is on caps lock and too busy to turn it off, so he's just yelling in chat. during screen transitions. Or maybe he's doing it on purpose, making sure he gets heard.
All right, we're getting ready for the Agile 1 fight on both sides. Doc has managed to close the gap just a little bit after Hera through the tree rupees that Blues had to acquire and a few cleaner rooms. But we'll see what Agile 1 has in store for us. Do you want to talk about the RNG in this fight, Melmo?
Sure. It's a pure test of skill. There's no RNG. That blue ball is Blue Sentio's fault. So the first, Aghanim goes on like a 5-hit cycle. So the first one is always an orange ball that can be reflected to damage him. And then the next three are 50-50s. And then the fifth one is always lightning. And the lightning it's like a super cycle, so you want to minimize super cycles. Unfortunately, we don't actually have any control over this fight, so the only thing we can do to control anything is to hit Aghanim in a direction towards the center of the room to increase the odds that he has a slightly shorter warp between each round. Like, that's really all you get to do in this fight. Everything else is just a test of patience. And I've already lost count, but Dr. Earworm says 2, so thanks for the spoiler.
I think Blue is at 4, but I'm not good
Yeah,
at
when you
counting.
get 3, you get an extra lightning. If you get 7, you get an extra lightning. So 4 might not seem like that much more than 2, but it's actually 3 more than 2 instead of 2 more than 2.
But yeah, we saw Doc enter the Agile 1 fight behind Blue and leaving it before, and that's just luck, but it's just part of the game. So we are now in the Dark World, and this is a sort of difficulty spike in the run to some extent. The enemies hit a lot harder here. We still do not have that much health comparatively, and we haven't really increased our offensive capabilities at all. We're still, well, I guess we're using the Master Sword. But yeah, it's pretty tough, or I guess pretty punishing to take any sort of hits on this overworld. Try not to do it.
Dr. Earworm has pulled a lead in Aga Tower, in part due to that slightly more favorable RNG, but I think also maybe he had, he didn't lose as much time because of the tree rupees that Blue Sentio had to do.
Oh, absolutely.
Cycles.
Yeah.
The extra dealing with that fairy room.
Yeah, the prize pack
room.
guards. Yeah. Blue had a few bonks as well, just generally. Yeah, Doc clawed back quite a bit of time between those two splits.
Pod is really hard to do as a random player because the way you do it in NMG is a specific order, and it's different. It's different between every category in this game, and it's different in rando based on key layouts. It's really hard to keep it straight.
It's one of the sort of most intricate dungeons to route and randomizer as well, just because of sort of the way that, as you said, the keys have such an impact on where you would want to go. But I find that even just doing speedruns, it can be a little bit hard because the little the thing you do when you enter and also after the mirrors is so like repetitive and samey that it's easy to just forget.
Oh,
Have I
yeah,
already
yeah.
gotten the big key?
Some people have a trick where they'll, when you walk into the lobby, into the room with 2 pots, you can go left or right around that thing and it's the same. So some people will use that to guide themselves. It's like, okay, I go left in this room on the cycles where I need to go left after, and then I go right on the cycles where I need to go right. And it
That's
gives
smart,
them,
yeah.
what it does is it primes them to actually think about where they're going before they're in the room where they need to make that decision.
Yeah. What I do is similar to what I do in the like Smith tempered sword upgrade. Is I just like talk through it the whole time. That
Oh
way I
God,
don't lose
Smith is even
my
worse
train of
because
thought.
they actually changed how it works in Rando, so you don't have to do as
Yes.
many screen transitions or any screen transitions. You just have to go out of the house and in again. So hard. And then the Smith is speaking Japanese, and then you're like, okay, why is he not giving me my sword? Oh, I don't have 10 rupees. What is going on here? Of course, in NMG you always have 10 rupees because your rupee route for Zora is giving you a bunch. But like there are other runs where you don't. If you mess up, you don't have
Yes.
rupees. And you don't know why he's not giving you the sword. And it's absolutely possible to like get all the way to Skullwoods with no sword and not realize it until you're in a room where you want to slash Baris and there's nothing there, or you try to dash through a Ropa and just get hit. Oh, I'm sure that won't be happening to any of these runners.
Certainly not. So
Or you go back into your mirror portal before you have your sword. That's another common one.
yeah.
Oh, we have some pretty good sync here. Like Blue has caught
Yeah,
up.
blue's caught up quite a bit. Where it's maybe a 2 or 3 second gap back at this point.
I wish I hadn't been talking about like 3 splits from now while they were running this, because I have no idea where Blue caught up. Interesting turtle room for everyone. Dr. Earworm did get unfavorable RNG from one of the turtles walking down. I'm not sure what happened to Blue Sentio to cause him to have to spin facing up.
Yeah, that was
Ooh.
interesting. I assume that was a backup, but I haven't seen it before.
Wow, Blue's just going for it. Okay. I mean, it's definitely not the most dangerous boss fight, but Helmasaur does do 2 hearts of damage on every attack, so you can go in with 6 hearts. You can get hit twice and be fine. Dr. Earworm can get hit 3 times and be fine, but now can only get hit once, so he has to be a little bit careful. But thankfully, like, you have the Master Sword, so you can just slash him if the hammer hits aren't working. They're hitting, I want to say they got this kill just a second or 2 apart. So, nice rates we have here.
Very nice race, yep. I noticed that Doc doesn't do, or at least this time didn't do the spin speed strat. And then as soon as the Helma face mask, whatever, was broken, released a spin. At that point, okay, gotcha, Doc. But at that point, if you're going to release the spin, you may as well get the spin damage out of it. You were very close. It would have saved a little bit of time, probably. Yeah, wow, we have a race. That's for sure. Doc taking a very safe route through the pod overworld screen to avoid the murder bird at the end. In this overworld, we have a couple errands to run. We're getting the flute here, then we need to go activate it.
Sokka's doing a dash light on the screen that I think is good in rando, but in NMG it generates a lot of lag. Let's see. Okay, we got our flute. We got our first try digs. No mirror portals.
Yep.
That's good.
You'd love to
Doc
see
had
it.
to sidestep his a little bit. But the last thing you want to do is get back into your portal, right? Get 4 digs.
That is the last thing you want
I
to
would
do.
do that.
Nobody. All right, spin speed may have been patched out of blues. Okay, no, we got it. We got spin speed. Yeah, that one is worth retrying because the screen without spin speed is just impossible.
Sometimes the hard part of spin speed isn't getting that, frame perfect A to Y or whatever it is. Sorry, it's actually B to A. Anyway,
B to A, yeah.
Sometimes the hard part is actually exiting the stairs correctly and not canceling your stair drag by accident. Because if you cancel your stair drag, you won't get the spin speed out of it. So sometimes to retry, you press B and you notice your sword's not coming out. You actually did get spin speed. You just have to retry the stairs.
Yep, you still have it sort of primed, just not activated.
This screen called Three Musketeers is one of those that is tricky to learn. It requires some pretty tight movement to do correctly, but there's a lot of ways to do it slightly slower that are safe.
Yeah, both of the runners that we saw added one more sort of slash or beam to sort of safeten it up a little bit, and that was pretty effective.
I think Dr. Earworm may not know about the quick warp on this screen. You want to approach that warp tile from the left side, not from the right side. So I guess I should explain what a quick warp is. There's some camera effect on warp portal timing where if your camera is positioned in a certain way, your mirror portal will get truncated by 30 seconds. Sorry, 30 frames. Approximately 30 seconds of time save. It's actually 30 frames is a lot. It adds up over the run.
It is.
Some of them are free, where it's just like, just approach the portal from the left instead of the right. Some of them are like literally built in, like you can't be anywhere else. And then some of them you actually do have to like learn a pixel queue, and you can put those off until you're sub 90 if you want. But learning the free ones is worth it because you will be doing these a lot. Also in rando, quick warps work in rando as well. I tried a dash in that room. It didn't work. I'm not sure what the strategy he was going for was. It might just be that it requires tighter timing.
Before dashing.
That might be the hammer RNG. I don't really know how to do that room either. So. Feast on Attic. This is a room that you could get pretty sweaty in if you want to, or you could just walk out and place the bomb. Blue's doing something like a compromise strat, I think. He did place the bomb early to cook the bomb faster, and then he slashed. Oh, Dr. Earworm, that was interesting. He actually did get he placed the bomb later, which is like safety, but the dash out was basically he did not have a huge time window to dash out and get the bomb to explode the floor and also not get hit. He was really right on time with that one.
Yeah, and that's, I think, why it's one of the sort of really scary rooms, because it's one of those rooms where the more time you spend there, the more time that the enemies have to get in your way. And, as you said earlier, the possibility space just really explodes in ways that we don't like.
And if you don't want to learn all 4 cricket RNGs, I think there's like really only 3 that matter, but if you only want to learn all the cricket RNGs, you can just do the same thing every time, which is you walk in the room and you place your bomb immediately, and then you slash up, and then you throw the bomb. The slash up will deal with certain cricket RNGs, and even if the cricket doesn't actually get in your way, it's like fine to slash up. It's not going to hurt you. You have to cook that
Yeah,
bomb.
the reason why
anyway.
it doesn't exactly. Yeah, the reason why it doesn't hurt you is because we have to wait for the bomb. So our movement isn't the time. Isn't the room's clock at that point. It's the bomb.
You also, there is an advantage to doing the room the same way every time because it is a very timing sensitive room where you have to exit the
absolutely.
room.
Yeah.
If you exit the room too fast, then you will not get the bomb.
Speaking of doing the room the same way every time.
No.
Yes.
There's room for
blind.
personality. There's room for personality in this. You don't have to do it the same way every time. But there are certain attacks where you do have to hit him on the first frame. And more or less, you will be doing the same dance as other NMG runners. This is really fun in one mind because everybody does do it slightly differently unless they're an NMG main. If you're a rando main, you probably learn how to do this without boots. So you might not actually know the strat where people like bonk off the wall.
Yep.
That's where it can throw you off.
Yeah, so Blind, the fight that we just finished, is a scripted fight. The RNG of the boss only depends on like the time and the position I think that you're in, like since you started the fight essentially. And so if you can get first frame hits on every vulnerable period after your previous hits, then the fight is going to look the exact same way every single time.
And if you get off script, then it becomes a bullet hell fight, and you will probably die.
Yes, it does.
And then when you walk back in to refight him, there's no script. You just have to do your best. Usually you'll go in with beams, so you have to farm a lot of hearts, because starting with beams will make the fight a lot safer and more possible, but most of the time this is a run ender if you go off script. Most people don't practice off script blind, because it's just not a thing you should have to do unless you're playing rando and all you have is the hammer.
It's something that I practice once at the start of every league season I'm participating in, and that's about it.
That's pretty dedicated. I don't think I've ever seen someone practice off script blind ever.
Well, it's mostly about knowing where the heart backups are to get beams back. That's my practice, so to speak. I'm not actually sort of practicing the fight itself to a large extent, but starting the refight with beams is a huge advantage.
See if Dr. Earworm does Smith correctly. So far, so good. I guess to get off the screen, there we go, and not go in the mirror portal. Oh, his mirror portal is quite low. It's probably not gonna. He's probably not gonna be tripping on that. The Tempered Sword is worth getting in this run. It saves enough time in the rest of the game. It's not just a safety. Doesn't actually save that much time, but it is faster to get it. The world record gets it. Alright, not going for defense dash at all. I wonder if Dr. Earworm will be giving us a Muffin's dash, which is a... well, we'll see. I don't know. Muffin's dash is... oh, he gave us like an extra... He's listening too. He can hear me talking. I don't know if he is on enough of a delay to have been goaded into it by me, but I appreciate that he did give us that dash. Oh no. I think what happened with Blue is he tried to dash Cardinal like left, but he was still in pit state and all he could do is turn down. Either that or he just got a phantom diagonal. I'm not really sure what happened.
I couldn't tell either, but yeah, one of the other.
I know that's a thing that can happen, is you get in pit state, and which you want. You're in pit state, dashing up there, and pit state changes the way dash cancels work, which means you can cancel with up instead of your usual diagonals. But then I think if you're like too fast on the redash, you can be stuck in pit state still. And also in that lockout frames you get from dashing through an enemy, you have 4 frames where you can't use your sword. I'm not sure if that has an effect, but you do, I think, sometimes dash through an enemy going there. Blue doing a bonk version of the bomb jump.
Yep, nicely done.
Dr. Earworm, he bailed on that one. I think maybe what happened was his sword hadn't actually fully charged, and he recognized it in
so.
time to not fall in the pit. So he did recharge. He's going to be off bomb route by 1. Also, well, a little bit damaged more than usual. I'm not sure where that came from, but usually it's the Moldorm. Ooh, we're going to do that fairy. Probably want to lose 1 heart before going into the back of Skull. The best place to do that is to just like dash up in the first room of the back of Skull, and if you get the bad RNG from the snake, you just go right through it. Unless you have a better suggestion. Because you don't want to have beams going into... Oh, God, speaking of bad snake RNG. You don't want to have beams going into Moth, but you really don't want to have them going into the Key Mummy room, because the strat for Key Mummy requires you to hit the mummy into the spike, and if you have beams, the mummy will go sideways instead of down left, or down right, and then you will be off script in that room.
Mm-hmm.
So you see blue menu to mirror as a menu buffer to position the mummy. It's the first hit, but not the second one. He did kill the mini Helma, which is something I mentioned earlier as a thing he could use to cycle the pack. But
no
the
luck,
mummy,
but...
it did not drop an item, so it does not cycle the pack.
Good mummy kill from Doc. We see Moth now on blue side.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good fight.
Yeah, blue had... Oh, okay. Both of them took some damage from Moth, but cleaned it up nicely. Kept their cool,
both got through
which is...
very nicely.
It's really easy to panic on Moth if things aren't going entirely right.
So yeah, Doc is down a bomb from probably what would be considered normal at this point, but can make it back by picking up the bombs in Swamp Palace, and it'll be fine. No real concerns as long as we get through Ice Palace bomb jump. No pressure. Well, some pressure, but...
Blue's still maintaining a slight lead over Doc. So there's a couple things going on this screen, Blue's on, that I don't know whose audio you have, but you want to toot your flute in this screen. It's not just for fun. This resets a variable that also affects your fire rod splash damage, so that when you walk into the first room of ice, you will hit the freeze door on the first try. We'll be using that variable later on. We'll actually be messing it up on purpose for a glitch called Spooky Action at a Distance, where you can hit a switch that's a screen away. Ooh, Dr. Earworm kills the first Ropa and then does the lottery dash, the second one. Wins the lottery.
Yeah.
I actually don't know how the first Ropa works either. Like, I can tell you that if you haven't learned that screen, it's not obvious what to do. Here's an example of a free quick warp that most people know about, is you bonk on that ledge and it will put you on the quick warp pixel. And in position
so then the
to
only
catch
thing
the
is
item.
that, well, kind of in position. You do need to move up usually, but it's just important that you don't have any left or right movement after the bonk to maintain the quick warp pixel. So now we have Zora's Domain, which is one of the most difficult screens in the game movement-wise, as we're already seeing. Both players have taken at least one bath.
I think at least one of the people in this chat has, I have on good authority that they spent like 3 hours practicing just this screen last night.
Yeah,
and still doesn't have the like best time.
There's a lot to it, but sort of one of the big things really is that on most screens in the game when we're dashing, if we overdash or underdash, whatever, then we'll either nudge on a barrier or we'll bonk on a wall or whatever. And those cost time, but they sort of keep us moving in the right direction still. I mean, bonk's not quite as much, but better than splashing. But in this screen, there is no nudging. If you go off of the path, you just fall in the water.
It's also not obvious where the water starts and stops.
It's not,
and
yeah.
It's not one-to-one, even with I don't know how to explain how the water works, but it's not actually a real edge that exists in the world. It depends on which direction you're approaching it from. So the edge might be in one spot if you're approaching from the left, but if you're approaching from above, it's in another spot. It's very stupid. Oh wow, that's not a good. That was okay, so
Yep.
there's a thing called Jingle Glitch that I'm really hoping Dr. Earworm didn't just get. We'll see in a second. I think he has enemies, so he's fine. Yeah, no Jingle Glitch. Okay, so
yeah, he's fine.
He killed an enemy really close to when that door opened, and that and then walked down the stairs. It is possible to do that frame perfectly and have to restart the dungeon. This can also happen in GT.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in that situation where you kill the first two jellies and then the third one gets in your way, you can fire rod it, and then it delays the death enough to get out of the room without the jingle happening, and that's probably what I would have done.
I think he might have also been able to just beam it from where he was. Blue Sentio had a really good. He did the damage boost strat where he beams the Bari and then damage boosts so that he can dash through the screen and get the key. Dr. Earworm did not do that strat, but still had a really good room and got through with all its health. Didn't have to dance around the key too much. It actually also puts him a little bit ahead on health, so if he's worried about cold stare, he doesn't have to worry as much. Wow. Did Blue just frame rule that enemy?
It kind of looked like it.
That was pretty good. I didn't think he was gonna just dash through it. I think he expected to take damage there, and I certainly expected him. Dr. Earworm took damage in the Pengator lineup room, which is really bad because those do 2 hearts. So now he has only 6. Cold Stare is kind of on a script, though, so if you do it correctly, you shouldn't have to worry about your health. He can get hit once. Basically, that's it. He can get hit once. He can get hit by 2 icicles or by 1 Cold Stare. I guess he can take a Cold Stare. Yeah, and he cannot take both. He can't take a Cold Stare and an icicle.
All right, good Cold Stare from Blue. We'll see what Doc has. Also, Doc, I didn't quite see where, but picked up enough bombs that we're now perfectly fine. We don't need to worry about backup bombs anymore.
Okay, so Dr. Earworm, he took his allotted hit, and the synchronization made the fight look a lot scarier than it was. He was actually fine. He could take another icicle, which was, usually in the room, if you have a Cold Stare party, you usually do have somewhat of a choice about which thing hits you. So, but he just cleaned up, and it's fine. He got out of it. That's what matters.
That's right. All right, Blue making the second trip on the mountain, not having a good time. But getting through that damageless is pretty impressive for spending so much time on that screen. Although I guess I spoke too soon. No, I didn't.
All right, we got 2 people going for Ether, Swamp Ether.
Yeah, so this is a chore that we need to do before we enter Misery Mire, but there's several places you can do it. It's either here, directly before Mire, and you could, if you were getting powder, you could do it even back in the Thieves Town segment. And so far, our runners have not really diverged on routing. Blue had an inadvertent flute to Kakariko, which costs a little bit of time. Looks like Doc is getting Ice Rod, and so we now do have some divergence in routing.
Well, it'll be a race.
That's right.
It'll be a race when we get out of, I guess when Blue gets his Ice Rod, whenever that is. We don't actually know when that is.
The conventional next place to look is when they land on Death Mountain after Mire, from like the flute leaving Mire, because Blue will need to flute to 8 first to get the Ice Rod. But Doc will be fluting right to the mountain.
Well, it seems like Doc had a very smooth shopping. He came out of it with all of his health, which is better than I can say when I go shopping.
So true. So Swamp Palace is interesting. It's not a very dangerous dungeon in terms of risk of dying, although it happens. But there are quite a few enemies that do just a little bit of chip damage here and there, and it can really add up. But really, it's not so much the hearts that you worry about; it's the frames when the enemies hit you and knock you off your path. And I've always thought of Swamp Palace as like sort of the escape or the Eastern of the Dark World, in that like the movement here really matters a lot, and it's sort of like, whereas Eastern is all about movement without boots, a lot of Swamp is about movement with boots, in a way that some dungeons aren't really about movement as much, but Swamp really is.
Yeah, you can see that Dr. Earworm tried to slash that enemy out of the way. It took a beam and then hit him. Not really sure what you're actually supposed to do there, but it's an example of one of the things that can just go a little bit wrong in each room. That fire snake being in his way. I'm sure maybe if he was just like a few frames faster in the movement, he might have avoided it, but people are not playing perfectly all the time, so things are going to hit you. Sometimes things are just in your way no matter how fast you're going. Oh, he has a really good switch. Both of them had really good switches. There's optimization to this room where you hit the switch as little as you need to actually get the switch to go, and then you move cleanly around that crystal switch. And it's really hard to move cleanly around the crystal switch because you stick to it. So we have, you watch where Link lands when he's frozen, and he gets, either on the blue pegs or not. All right, Doc, taking no chances with that fire. It's really common to get hit by that fire if your movement isn't perfect. That's one of those where you should be able to avoid it every time, I'm pretty sure, just by doing the correct movement. But if you
Yep.
know that your movement wasn't correct, you can either tank the hit or you can do it docked in and wait it out.
Doc started the first dash in that room late, which caused that to happen.
And not even dashing out the door, like, things just happen. It's so easy to get hit by stuff trying to dash out the door. I don't blame him for just walking it. The movement from the hookshot to the key pot is normalized, so you shouldn't have to be manually lining up pixels. What you want to do is when you walk up the staircase, you hold diagonal upright until you're on the statue, and then you hold up to open the chest, and then while that text box is playing, you hold down right, and that will put you exactly on the pixel to hookshot to the pot, so that you're centered to hookshot the next pot.
Yeah, we get to use both sort of like, spatial buffers with the statue, or I guess, I don't know what you want to call it.
It's like gridding yourself. Yeah.
Exactly, gridding yourself. And then we also get to use the menu to buffer a clean diagonal. So we get to, sort of use two different ways of normalizing that, which is really neat.
Oh, that's true. I forgot that there was also a menu. You have to menu to the hook shots. So you have a million years out of the menu to switch to the diagonal. Plus, I think the menu itself doesn't take diagonal inputs, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go down under the... I think he could have actually gone over that one, but most of the time it will hit you. Neither of them going for zero cycle. Zero cycle is I want to say like a 126 or under strat, unless you
I think that's fair.
Feel like it, I guess. It saves 6 seconds. It's a pretty big time save, but it's also really hard to do.
Oh, nice fire rod quick kill from Doc.
I think fire rod quick kill is one of those that random players know how to do.
It's true.
I feel like I'm the only one who doesn't do it most of the time. Sometimes I'll wing it, but like that one's been in the rando repertoire for a long time.
Yeah, and it really saves more time in rando than in the speedrun because of the lack of menuing with Twitch swap.
Rando players also know how to do it with Ice Rod, and that's just insane. So hard to do with Ice Rod.
True.
Well, it's not so much that it's hard to do with Ice Rod. It's hard to know the timing for both and switch between them. And also your positioning is different for Ice Rod versus Fire Rod.
All right, we'll see if we get a bird toss from either of our runners. We got one from blue, and we'll see shortly on Doc's side. So blue is entering Mire 2, which is the second room in Mire, and it's a pretty technical room. One of the more technical combat rooms in the game. Really good execution there to get through quickly. Another one of the rooms where it's sort of the principle of we want to kill all the enemies before they have a chance to really get out of hand. Mire is a pretty consistent segment once you are sort of at the level-ish that our runners are at now. It's pretty reasonable to expect to get most of the way, if not all the way through this dungeon without any major time losses.
There's not a lot of RNG in this dungeon. There's a script for the boss. The boss does have RNG, but if you do it the same way every time, that shouldn't matter. However, if you do things a little bit off, a lot of the things in this dungeon do a lot of damage, so it's easy to die if you're not practiced at it. But if you are practiced at it, it's also easy to just turn your brain off and do the dungeon.
Yep, yeah, it's definitely one of those dungeons that really flips in terms of how scary it feels at some point. Like, I remember when I was first starting, it felt like a pretty scary dungeon because of it. what you said, how much everything hurts when you get hit. And then now I'm at the point where like this is really sort of like my last like mental break, I guess, before the true end game. Blue going for a safe strat through this lobby screen.
I wonder why he cardinals that hook shot. I feel like diagonal hook shot is correct there. So you generally want a diagonal hook shot. As
yes.
in, if you're going to hook shot in a room and you're not already lined up with it, you want to be walking diagonally towards that spot. Whereas if you're going to dash through a room and you're not aligned with it, you want to cardinal into the dash most of the time. If you're only doing one tile, it's a wash, and sometimes it's more consistent or safer to diagonal that one tile rather than to cardinal it, so you're not like grabbing a wall.
Yep.
But with hookshot, you want to diagonal those. Dr. Earworm did go for Spark Gamble, but he didn't actually do the thing that... So the way Spark Gamble works is you dash on the lower lane and you want to hit the spark on the right frame rule so that you're dashing through it and not taking damage until you're halfway through the spark or more, so that you actually get hit towards the staircase instead of away from it. And you can increase the odds of being on the right frame rule by menuing as you land on the spark. But Dr. Earworm actually didn't menu there, but he still got the good frame rule, so it's nice to see. He didn't take 0 damage, because you can take 0 damage as well and just go right through it. He did take damage, but he took damage and got the good boost from it. So okay, so Blue Sentio and Vitreous, he did miss one of the eyeballs in that last hit and had to do some extra cycles to clean it up, but he still... pretty cozy fight, like didn't take enough damage that he's in one hit KO or anything like that. Also, yeah, Sean pointing out that nobody really expects to get the full frame rule in the spark, so when you do, you usually just end up bonking on the wall because you're expecting to lose a little momentum from the spark. You're expecting the spark to cancel the dash for you, and you don't.
So Doc blew Spooky somewhere, and it's good that he has the extra bomb here.
I don't know if he actually broke Spooky or if he just like didn't time it correctly. I think most random players like know how to do Spooky variable.
Oh, certainly knows it.
I think it's more likely he just like wasn't fire rodding the spike correctly, because I don't know.
It was pretty close. I couldn't tell if the spike or if the fire rod shot missed the spike, or like because hitboxes are a little weird. But it looked like it was pretty close, so it could have gone either way.
The good thing for Doc is he does have, he has like enough bombs to beat the game. He can get more in Turtle Rock for GT. He can get one in the TR lobby if he wants.
Yeah, TR lobby is the fastest bomb to pick up at this point. You really do want to enter GT with one bomb somewhere because of the bombable floor room. Using your last bomb gives you a menu that you don't want, basically, like a free menu that you don't want. And yeah, both our runners not amazing on arrow count.
Okay, so we're at sync point with Blue having picked up Ice Rod and landed on the mountain.
Yep.
Dr. Earworm still has to get through this cutscene, and then we'll be also fluting to the mountain. Blue taking a very safe route through the Waffle House screen. Also, those bombs, those rocks can drop bombs, so Doc could take that route and possibly get a bomb drop from it. Oh, I have words about that screen, that the beam just didn't hit the rock for some reason,
weird.
So he took 2 damage from it. I love that screen so much. just get the health. Why not? I think, for blue, knowing he's not going to get his fairy, and if he does, it'll be late. Getting the health is probably the right call. And Doc being off bomb route, getting those 2 rocks. The second rock was definitely for farming, not just to get across. I don't know if all of those rocks are 50-50s or 25s or whatever, but
No,
I know
certainly
at least
not.
some of them are.
Yeah. I don't know which ones, but I don't even think the one that Blue picked up was a bomb chance, because we picked that one up a lot, and I don't usually know if I've seen bombs there.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe none of them are bomb chances.
The 4 corners. Thank you, Checks, and secretly a sliver. All right, we'll see what Blue does in the roller rooms.
Yeah, I'd be doing this too. I think it's a 4-second time loss to mirror out of here, but it's like a 3 heart time loss to dash out. So yeah, I don't blame him. You don't want to be 1-hit KO in chomps. High-fiving in that lobby room. Blue's still quite a bit ahead. Let's see what kind of prizes we get. We get 1, so we get the red rupee. I don't remember what the order is. I know there's like a 8 bomb and there's an arrow, 10 arrows. So we'll probably actually get some arrows, which is nice.
Nice chomps from Blue. Good to see.
I just think Dr. Irwin just walks out. Like, he's willing to take the damage, but he either doesn't know the dash strat or just didn't feel like he was on cycle for it. But it feels comfortable enough going through here with the health that he has, and on the chance that he doesn't get a fairy drop in this room. Let's see if he does. He gets the fairy in the heart, and he has beams for chomps, which is really nice to see. Sometimes the heart matters, like sometimes you're down 8 health and you want to have beams for this room. Ooh, that was close. Okay, so Placentio has like a decent amount of health. Like, this is a normal amount of health to have if you had just done the dungeon normally and gotten unlucky with the fairy. So he'll be fine. As long as he doesn't take too much damage in here. This is a room. I was talking at the very beginning of the run that there are some rooms where you can memorize every RNG. There are 16 of them in this room. Good luck. I think most people don't memorize all 16 until 124 level. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you've done it.
I've definitely done it.
Do you still remember them?
Yes. It takes me a few tries to sort of warm them back up, but
nice.
They're like riding a bike, in my opinion.
That's good. It's good to know. It seems intimidating to me. Think about the speed run where you're doing that room in reverse. There's only 2 RNGs. Does the top one go towards the door or not? That's really all you care about. A quick 6-hour session.
I did indeed learn them all in a quick 6-hour session.
Oh my gosh.
See? I think I streamed it.
Heck yeah. And Chex can call you out on that because he has also done this. And I think he's done it in multiple sessions. Yeah, Fox calling him out too. We were all there for it. He definitely streamed it. I remember that stream. Multiple streams. Very nice laser skip. I don't think the heart matters in here, so blue will skip it. Trinex does either 1 heart or 4 hearts. he doesn't have any attacks that do other amounts of damage. So coming in with 6 hearts is no different from coming in with 7 hearts, unless you're going to take multiple body hits. You can get hit once. Dr. Earworm, Cross Key's main, knows how to do walk skips, so he just does that and does it perfectly.
Good.
Yeah, if you're a Cross Keys man, you need to know that, because I mean, I don't know why you always find that room as your like first room, and you have 3 hearts and there's 4 chests in it, and you've got to get all of them, and you just need to know how to do it.
Pretty solid Turtle Rock from Blue, especially considering the lack of the guaranteed fairy there.
Yeah, and it's not over yet, but really solid Turtle Rock dungeon from Doc.
Yep.
And it's playing it safe. Doesn't look like he has opted to learn backdoor strats yet. Doesn't really save time, but it does make the fight more consistent. In some ways, it makes it a little more RNG resilient, in my opinion. And fumbles a hit on that last one, but doesn't take any damage.
Yeah.
That last cycle is hard for rando players because it's one of the bosses that's affected by fast ROM, so the timing is different playing rando versus NMG. And usually what that means is in rando, if you're used to not having fast ROM, you get bulldozed by Trinix, or you overcompensate and start your dash too early. So right, despite both of them having good runs, Blue's still ahead coming out of Turtle Rock.
Yep, and getting ready to enter Ganon's Tower, which is the final dungeon in the speedrun. And it's sort of a really good sort of culmination of the entire game, I guess. We do a lot of cool stuff. We will see what key routing each of our runners do. Looks like Blue is skipping the torch key at least. There are 3 possible places to get the last key, I guess, that you need, and we just saw one of them. Hey, Sean, we had 2 bird tosses, I believe. All right, and then Doc does get torch key. So. All right, Blue has plenty of arrows dropping into the Ice Armos fight.
Right, you must have gotten them from the Pokey, huh?
I think so, yep.
Dr. Earworm is pretty short. He'll have to get the chest. So we'll get the pot, which will bring him up to 12, and then we'll get the chest, bringing him up to 22, and then I'll have to get the chest again afterwards.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So he's fine as long as he gets the chest.
It looked like that dash cancel was because of pit state. He was probably holding the right D-pad button as he was dashing.
Some people advise that when you're doing dashes, to assist in dash canceling, you just hold that D-pad direction and then roll your thumb to the diagonal, but that doesn't work when you're in pit state, because when
it's
you're
just
in pit
very
state,
context dependent.
Yeah, when you're in pit state, any D-pad input will cancel your dash, so you have to neutral your D-pad. Oh, we're having a off-script Armos. That's not great. Oh, we can get this back on script, but it doesn't manage to This might be a bad bat situation later. But I'm sure he knows how to handle it. He's a random player. Bombs? No. He doesn't know which one's the arrows. I love that.
I like how we still get a text box there, even though we picked up bombs in Saha's closet.
People complain about the later Zeldas. Like every time you boot up your game, you get the rupee text box for every rupee. And that's terrible. But Link to the Past never lets up on the bomb text box from chess. I mean, I'm assuming it's because it's not actually like possible to do that. Like the game is coded in a way that you either get a text box or you don't, and you can't have it give you a text box on the first one. So they want to make sure you actually know how to use bombs because they are required. And throwing a bomb is required. You have to do it in Thieves' Town Attic. I think that's the only place where throwing a bomb is required. I can't think of any other locations. At least not, to beat the game.
Yeah, hard required? Probably not.
Seems like Blue has picked up even more of a lead.
The Ice Armos fight didn't help Doc any.
Yeah. He also had a slower Mike Arrows, well, whatever that chest is called. Mike Arrows is a strat. He certainly didn't do Mike Arrows. I don't think he needed those arrows, but I understand the temptation. I mean, a bit of a party in Gauntlet 3.
Yeah, Doc getting pushed around a little bit.
Not going for G4 arrow, but it's fine. He doesn't get the RNG for it. Not going for G5 arrow either, which is fine. G5 arrow is a meme. It's not a meme, but like it is. Normally what you do is you walk into the room and hold down left and fire an arrow, and then you menu to fire rod and you read the RNG. And you have a chance to save magic. I think he got no hits on this, which is not great. You can't afford to use too much magic because you do need to have some going into torches. He's having a bit of a hard time with this. I wonder if he's actually getting thrown off by the lag, because this is the laggier fight than it is in Rando.
The important thing is that Land Mode 2 was fewer cycles than Land Mode 1.
That's true. I guess if you're doing some Mario Land mode, you're not menuing to Fire Rod. Then it's definitely a meme because you're not menuing to Fire Rod. You're menuing to Cane and then just hoping for the best, I guess. Or you're menuing and you're deciding which item to menu while you're in that. And that's Galaxy Brain. If you get good RNG, you menu to Cane. And if you get bad RNG, you menu to Fire Rod. Dr. Irwin taking no chances with Jingle Glitch. Probably just used to playing in random versions where it's not a thing. But also, if you feel like your timing has been off, then it can be dangerous to walk into the stairs. If you do this room correctly, you shouldn't have to worry about it. But if you know that you've done it wrong, then you might want to just be safe about it. He's also setting up for a glitch called Fake Powder. This is an alternative to real powder, where you use the cane with no magic and you prompt that text box, and then during that text box you menu to the mushroom and it will do a powder instead. You have to be careful because if you menu to the mirror instead, you'll just mirror out automatically when you unmenu. And it's really easy to do that by accident because you do menu through the mirror. So Blue's dropping in on Ganon with 4 hearts. He can't take any hits in phase 1 or 2.
Well executed, phase 2.
He should be out of danger now. I I don't think you expect to get hit in phase 3. You just shouldn't be getting fire bats at all. And then phase 4, the fire bats only do 2 hearts of damage, and you shouldn't be walking into Ganon. So the only real danger left is falling or missing torch glitch. So let's see, Dr. Earworm, he claims to have blown his pace, and he's probably right. I don't actually know what kind of Ganon he's running against, but he is going to be like about plus 20 going in. Which is not bad at all. Like, this is really good for a race.
Yes, very good.
Most of his disasters, I mean, all of his disasters have been minor. None of them have been like huge. He could do this again and pull a PB.
Certainly.
He got he took 1 hit from fire, but he's still on 1-in-1 cycle, so that's good. Meanwhile, Blue Sentio has gotten successful torch glitch and is just finishing out the fight. Silverless Ganon's it's not too difficult to just do. It can be a little tricky to optimize to actually get triples every time, but to just do the fight is pretty easy. So he does get it, and not quite a sub 90, but it's going to be pretty close. It's going to be a 130 something.
Race time of 1:30:09.
Yeah, Dr. Earworm just not taking any chances. Torch glitch or with slashing and spinning Ganon so close to the pit. Just spams that lamp, and you know he's already behind pace, and his opponent has finished, so he just wants to finish it out.
And GG for Doc. Race time of 1:31:19.
Also gold Ganon.
Welcome in, Blue. GG.
Hey, how's it going?
Going great. Congrats
It
on
seems
the
like we
win.
gave you an
Congrats
exciting
on-
race.
It was exciting. It was fun to watch. A little bit of back and forth throughout, and then the second half was really a story of seeing if you could hold on to a small lead.
Yeah, I didn't look at anything until the stairs up to Aga 1 when I was in that cutscene. And we were pretty close there. And then every time I looked on a crystal cutscene, it was like we were like neck and neck. And then I think Doc probably got Ice Rod and Swamp, and then you don't know what's going on at that point anymore. So
Yeah, I think we could kind of tell that the time that you made up was mostly inside Swamp, Mire, Turtle Rock, probably GT as well.
Sure.
Just sort of the late game rooms is where you pulled ahead a little bit. Welcome in, Doc. GG, congrats
Hello.
on the run.
GG, thanks. I'm very happy with that. Anything. I mean, so that PB that I was running against was actually my qualifier for League. So anything that's like in that range, I'm happy with.
Yeah, wonderful run. It was a very, very exciting race. Fun to watch. I know that we all had a good time watching.
And it's nice because I have so many like pretty basic things that are just massive time saves. Like PH was in the mentor program. PH was taking me through the cold stair fight recently, and obviously like I got off script, but like when I think I got off script and still gained time on my
Yep.
on my PB. And then same thing with Mire. Like I had a pretty disastrous Mire, and still it just wasn't that bad because I think I also missed Spooky in my PB. And then of course like I just sort of had a lot of shambles in GT.
Yeah, GT is tough.
So, yeah. So, but I think all of that is a good thing, right? Because I'm like, oh, cool, I got this time that's very consistent and close to my PB, and there's like still the thing that has kept me from really diving into NMG for so long is I'm like, I just don't want to grind rooms, man. That just sounds boring to me. And so it's nice to still be on the side of the curve where like I have a lot of practice to do on stuff that doesn't sound boring, that will
Yep.
turn like have a lot of like return on investment, and will also help my rando game.
Yeah, true. I would say that a lot of the places also where you have things that you could clean up and save some serious time are not rooms that you would need to grind, but it would just
Right.
be like you just need to learn the rooms. And
Exactly. Yeah.
that's also kind of boring for some people. I get it.
You know
but
what it is? It's boring when I'm doing it alone. I love it as a social thing. So I'm really hoping I'm gonna be able to get to SGL this year, and I can grab some people and just like sit and nerd out on speedrun
Yeah,
strats
I
for a
totally
while.
hear
That
that.
sounds fun.
Nerding out over dash lines is definitely one of my favorites. So
Yeah.
I hear that.
NMG is more fun with a friend,
Exactly. Yeah.
especially
time.
Tyler's alt and the It's Street Live room. I want to see more races like that next
Yeah.
year, or at my house. Just come over. Oh, you're not there anymore. I'm sad.
Well, I am. I am for a few more months. So yeah.
All right, we got to make it happen. We got to do a rematch.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yep. And then I'll have to
trying
find Midwest friends.
I'm sure there are Midwest friends, right? Concision.
Definitely.
All right.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your gold Ganon as well. That is
thank
indeed a
you.
gold.
Yeah.
And also, is this
nice.
your second best run ever?
Yes, it is.
Cool. It's a really nice run. I'm looking at your splits right now, and nothing is more than plus 20, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Or-
If I had bombed the qualifier, this would be my PB. So it's my qualifier. My PB is like the 131.11. This one is a 131.19, and my previous PB was a 131.30. So it's just like
great.
right in there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely encouraging when you mentioned this earlier, but it's encouraging when you can see a sediment and be like, oh, that was pretty bad, and like, what? I still saved 4 seconds?
Right. Yeah. For sure.
You start saying, "Oh, that's embarrassing."
It just shows the
on that
improvement.
split.
There were a couple times there where I was like, how did I save time there? What? Like, yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Pops. Thanks for the restream, and Malmo Concision. Thanks for comms. This was a lot more fun. Malmo knows I always have something on in the background when I'm playing video games anyway, because it's just how my brain works. Like I need multiple things, and so having the restream on in the background was very fun. So thanks everyone.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. I'm kind of the opposite. I'm gonna watch it later, I think, but I just go in silence when I race for some reason. I don't know how I started doing that, but this is the exact opposite of what I do a lot of times.
Yeah, same blue. I'm big on going into the focus chamber for races, but I appreciate how everyone's different. It's great.
Yeah.
But
cool.
Good
All
race. I guess we'll hand it back over to Pops. And yeah, thank you, Pops, for the restream.
Thanks, Pops.
I love the opportunity.
GG's. Bye.
Yeah. Good job. Congrats on your win, Blue, and great job, Doc. Thank you, Comms. Appreciate you. We're going to send a raid over to another runner in the league. It looks like they're practicing for their next race. And yeah, so more races to come. This ends round 1, as far as I know, for season 12 of NMG League. So we'll be back with more. I hope you guys all have a great night, and thank you for joining us.